Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Get 50 Sales Using Facebook with the MAPS coach, Dina Watson. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me. Dina, take it away.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited that you guys are here with me today. I first would like to thank all of you who are here from last week for extending grace in the situation that I had come up, and I am excited that you guys are here and that we're going to rock this program. So I just wanted to take a second to introduce myself to you so you guys know who I am, and then also let you guys know by the end of the program, in addition to being able to email MAPS fasttrack at kw.com, where you can find me and kind of scope out what I'm doing on social media to see if it's something that you would like to participate in. So my name is Dina Watson. I'm currently living in North Carolina. My husband is in the military and I'm licensed in 3 different states. In the last 4.5 years, I've rebuilt my real estate career over and over and over in about 3 different places, all using social media to fuel that. So this is a topic I have a whole lot of passion around. It's also something I've got a lot of knowledge of and a different way of looking at it than most. So through the program and through this 30-minute webinar, I'm going to guide you guys through what will be taught during the full program and also give you a couple of things to take away and put into your business as you guys walk away from this. The first thing that I wanted to give you a little bit of information on is what the program actually is about. This is an all-encompassing program for 8 weeks, where at the beginning of the program, you're going to learn things from foundational pieces on how to set up a Facebook business page if you choose to, how you set up business groups, also what the differences are between them and what are the best practices for an individual agent or even a team to use when it comes to utilizing social media to actually gain traction in your community, to use it to keep up with your clients and referrals, to also learn how to build up referral relationships with other agents across the country. You'll learn all of that and a little bit more as well. And as I'm going through this, like she said, if you guys have questions, you can type them into the questions box. And as I see them pop up, I will definitely make sure to go through and answer them as I can see them come up. So the first part of the 8-week program is learning how to build a foundation. I will also take you through a few exercises on things from branding yourself, branding your business, and also how to use your branded approach to looking how to work with buyers and sellers on Facebook and attract both to you through attraction marketing. Just to kind of step aside, attraction marketing, for those of you who may not be aware, is the process of which you create a person who people are seeing online. They are attracted to the ideals of, the values of, the way that they live their life, and therefore they want you to use them, or they want to use you as their realtor and their point of contact for the community. So I'll walk you guys through how to do that effectively and consistently as well. There's going to be topics all the way through, and each week is going to be segmented into a certain point that builds on the next as the program goes through. We will be recording all of them, so I know that at times when I've taken group coaching programs in the past, maybe 1 or 2 of the dates don't work for me and I'll go back and listen to the recording. So that will be happening here as well. One thing that I think may be different if you've taken a group coaching program before will be, well, 2 things. One will be that I'll be utilizing the actual webinar portion of this to do more than create talking points. So part of it will be me actually showing you real life examples in picture on the webinar about what I'm talking to you about, so you have a better visual of what you would need to do. And so if you choose to, hop on this journey with me, I would make sure that at some point you can actually watch the webinar, and versus just listening to it, I think you'll get much more out of it. The way that the layout is broken in is 8 one-week sessions, and each class is 1 hour. In addition to that, there will be a closed Facebook group for all participants to be able to hop in, and I will be doing a 30-minute Facebook Live every week on something that is an additional teaching point that will complement whatever topic we're talking about that week as well. In the group, I will also be sharing tips and tricks and different places that I use to create graphics on social media, different places I use to have things created that I put out on social media, and just a little bit more in-depth knowledge of the inner workings on each of the week's program topics. So this is a little bit about how you could also find me on Facebook. I know there are a couple people with my name, so if you want to look on Facebook, this was taken this morning, this is what you will see. But I wanted to share this with you because one of the things that we will talk about in the first couple of sessions is a lot about creating alignment in your brand and making sure that what you are doing on social media is always showing the same things, one of which is font. So the deep dive at the beginning of this is going to be foundational, but one of the things that we will speak about is your selection in your brand, your colors, your pictures, and how they have to be unified to create that actual awareness. It would be really strange to all of us to see Coca-Cola turn themselves blue because we're used to seeing them red, right? So if you take the same approach, you will stand out. And as you notice, I'm not utilizing the normal KW blue, black, and gray in our branding because everyone in our market center uses that. So this is something that sticks out. It's also strategic the way that I've, as you can see, placed the core values of our team. So where you see people, choose, empower, ownership, and humble, in that each one of those, if you actually hop over to my page, you'll see that each one of those is a core value of my business, and they are saved up there for everyone to see. And there's unity in the coloring and all of the way that I've chosen to set that up. So that will be taught to you as well. The one piece of information I would like to share with you guys and challenge you to do over the next couple of weeks until the program starts is to go ahead and get a leg up on thinking about this, right? So I would love for you guys to pop into the questions box or the, and I do see there are a couple questions there. I'll answer them in a minute, but I would love for you guys to pop into the questions box if you have an actual brand. And I'm going to give you all a few minutes to put your answers in there. So do you feel like you have an actual brand on social media, or are you just another individual posting? So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to pop your answers in there. Paul has a brand. Amy has a brand. Would love to see those. Someone says, Lisa says 50-50. No brand, no brand. Just posting at this point, no brand or unity. Yeah, so I'm starting to see that most of you guys are 50-50 at best. And then the rest of you are not really truly branded to yourself. And that's awesome because you guys are in the right place. I will walk you through even which colors invoke which emotions with people. So one of the exercises I would absolutely love for you guys to start doing over the next couple of weeks until this program launches, two things. So if you don't have a piece of paper, I'd break one out right now and write this down. But the first one is going to be identify who you actually want to work with. So who do you want to work with? And there's a reason that it's important for you to think of this first. And I'll give you an example with my own business, and then you can understand where I'm coming from. So psychologically, there's this whole realm of the psychology of colors, right? And how colors evoke certain emotions out of women and how colors evoke certain emotions out of men. And it is a very different thing. So blue, for example, the variations of blue that we have in our team's color, our market is mostly military. So I work and live in a military installation area, and the color blue is actually the most overwhelmingly chosen color by men in order of what they are seeing as an attractive color and branding. And there's all these studies done, which I'll share in that full program. But for example, blue is a color most often chosen by men, and it also allows calm and serenity. So when we were looking at colors that we wanted to choose for our team, and we just rebranded about a year ago, maybe not even a year ago now, but we chose blue because most of our clientele are military men. And so if we worked in an area, or if our ideal candidate or our ideal client was a woman, we may have chosen colors very differently. And of course, we know that a lot of our clients are married, and that we were wanting the calm and serenity part to go for them. But the most of the people in this area that come here are coming here because they are either in the military or their husbands are. And that was a big piece of it. Selfishly, the other piece of it was the teal that we chose. My mother actually passed away years ago of ovarian cancer, and ovarian cancer ribbon is the teal color. So a couple of reasons for that, but The other reason that we chose the yellow was two things. The yellow stands out. There's no one else in our marketplace using mustard yellow in their branding. And so we knew that it would pop on a sign or pop going down the road on a billboard or whatever we would choose to use. But yellow is a very energetic color. And it also helps people create the thought and the ideal of happiness, which obviously if you think of sun, you think of happy. Unless you're pale like me and then you think of sunburn. But anyway, not to get too far off topic, but there are reasons that we chose the colors that we did. I would have loved lime green. My team kind of would have vetoed me on that, but I'll share with you each color that you could choose and how that would invoke a certain emotion. So to wrap that up, the reason I want you guys to look at who your ideal clientele is, because if you are working with an ideal clientele or if you're working towards that, and the branding that you choose is completely against the things that foundationally they would like to see, you may actually be at conflict with one another. The other thing that I would show on here, and we'll get into looking at Instagram at the very end of the program as well. And most of this is focused on Facebook, but there is a couple of sessions that are in there on Instagram. Looking at how you can use that color to break up the pictures because it's more eye-catching, which an example of that is the picture to the right here. So do you guys, I guess, what questions do you guys have on here about how you would go about selecting your color? So I'll start to look at these here in a second. Burgundy would actually, depending on your, Paul has a question, how is burgundy? So I would say that burgundy is a very, very color blocked type of approach. I would look at what your complementary colors are and maybe use those in more of your marketing than burgundy, because burgundy could be really muted. It's not something that really would stick out in an array of signs as you're driving down the road. So I would maybe look at a different one. Purple actually is a power color, Regina. So that is one of the things that, depending on the shade of purple, would probably be a great idea if you're looking at how you would, we see purple a lot. Maps obviously is purple, but we see purple a lot in luxury areas. So purple is a power color. It also is associated with luxury. So if you're in a luxury market, purple is actually something that mentally people associate with luxury brands. So that may work for you. Orange is actually a really good color depending on the, Annette had orange. So orange, depending on the hue of orange, is actually really great in marketing too. So as we go through the program, I'll kind of show you guys each color separate from one another and how that works. But in the meantime, I would like for you to determine who your ideal client is. And that way, when you get to the exercise of choosing the right color for your brand, you'll be able to make sure that those are in alignment with each other. All right, so moving along from the color, another thing that we will get in depth on is not just what to do on social media, but when to do it. So we'll look at what are the best days to post, what are the best hours to post, what are the best times to post, how often do you post. One of the misconceptions, I think, when people are scared about setting themselves up on social media, people get scared and they think, I don't want to spam my friends and family with my real estate business, or they've noticed somebody in, I'm just going to use direct sales because that's the one that comes to my mind. They've noted that someone in direct sales has spammed them to the point where they just don't like looking at it and they don't want to do that to their friends or family. And this is a takeaway that will be in the program, but I'd like to share it with you now. There is a rule of thirds. So when you are looking at best practices on social media, I like to call it the rule of thirds. I'm sure I've heard that from someone and I just don't remember who at the moment, but rule of thirds would be 1/3 business, which would be 30% of your posts should be real estate related, 1/3 personal, which as you can see on here, my child is obviously front and center on here. So 1/3 personal, 1/3 business, and 1/3 inspirational or aspirational. So things that are positive and uplifting should fit into that as well. So that's one of the best practices that we'll dig deeper into in the program and kind of a how-to on that. But just to give you guys a little bit of a takeaway, if you're posting right now, I would go back and audit what you have been doing. And if it's all real estate related or all sales or all listings or, hey, I listed this, today's day and age, people are ignoring you. So look at how you can mix up the rule of thirds in your business over the next couple of weeks. And then I would love to chat with you about that once we're in the program. Okay, so back to this. The next thing that we will walk through during the 8 weeks, a big portion of it is placing ads. And I don't just mean boosting posts. So there are a few differences between boosting post and placing an ad through the Facebook Ads Manager. I will walk you guys all through how to start the Facebook Ads Manager, how to put your credit card or debit card in there for business purposes. That way that you can do this on the phone, on a tablet, or on your computer, and you don't have to run your card every time. I will walk you guys through how to set budgets for ads. That way that you know you're not going over budget any month based on your profit and loss that you have with your accountant, with yourself, or with your MAPS coach. But I will kind of show you how the way through all of those things on the back end to make sure that you're not overrunning ads. Once you've set a budget on the Ads Manager, if you're placing ads left and right, not being cautious of the cost of them, it actually turns it off at some point and says your limit has been approached, you cannot spend anymore. And then at that point, it's up to you to go reset the limit or increase it or decrease it or what have you. And we'll walk through all that too. But the biggest portion of the placing ads on the program is going to be around how to have a new age approach to the way that everyone's been doing business for a long time. And I'll give you guys an example. In my market, we are just now to the point where we're not having a huge amount of expires anymore. But in the last couple of years, unlike a lot of you, we still had been. So we would have 5, 10, 15 expires a day. January 1st, we had over 300. I don't know why all of the realtors in our community think that putting January 1st is the thing to do, or if it's an office policy, I'm not sure, but it's kind of comical. So we spend the first couple of days of the year sifting through expireds. And yet one of the things that I've figured out how to do very well, and I'm going to show in this program, is how to do expired campaigns targeting certain homes in certain areas based on the address that expired. So basically you would call in the morning, hey, I saw your home expired off of the market, do that script and that spiel. And then by the time they get back home and their phone, their GPS on their phone has crossed into the address of their home, and you've made a target ad for that person, which I'll show you how to do in the program as well, on their phone and in their news feed when they're scrolling Facebook is an ad about how your home expired and you would love to list it for them that pops up just because of where they're located and their phone GPS is tagged. So I've also going to show how you do that with new construction. I know a lot of people say that in areas where there are a lot of new homes, you'll have buyers kind of like a car lot on a Sunday. They know no one's sitting out there and they don't want to be bothered, right? So like all of you guys who go shop for cars, I actually did it this weekend. I don't want to be bothered by somebody because I'm just not ready yet. And I wanted to kind of just look around. And so I go on a Sunday because they're not open. So people do the same exact things with us. They want to go and look at a house, but they don't want to be bothered. Ones that they can easily get into are new construction areas where the doors may not have knobs on them, or maybe there's an agent sitting at a house that's a site agent and that could show them around. But if you know how to adequately place Facebook ads over certain communities, anyone within that community maybe we'll see an ad pop up that says, looking for a new home and want to see it today, call here, you know, and I'll show you how to do all that in the program. Tara or Tara, one of my agents has a coach and her name is Tara, so I will always be respectful of that. It said, will this be centered around single agents or teams? Honestly, it could be either one. So if you are a buyer's agent on a team that allows you to have some autonomy with how you run your social media business, definitely for you. I would say if you are on a team, check with your team leader on what exactly you're allowed to do if they have a policy like that in place. If you have a team, I will actually be showing you some of the ways that I set expectations when people come onto my team on how they're allowed to behave on Facebook. One of the value adds I'll give to you guys when we get to that point in the program is my social media policy, and I'll share that in the group because there will be a private Facebook group for this class as well. I'll share that with you. So my famous R&D is, I asked my husband this morning, I said, what does R&D stand for? And he's like, duh, research and development. And I said, no, sir, rip off and duplicate. So I'll be sharing a lot of things that I use on my team, and I'm the rainmaker of the team. But if you're on a team, I don't think that I think that the first step for you would be to ask your rainmaker what they're going to be willing to have you do on Facebook outside of the team, or just honestly bring them in. It's $198 for a program for 8 weeks. And if you guys sold one home because you helped introduce this to your team and your team took that approach, you've more than paid for itself. So I would say bring your team leader on, but just make sure you're not placing any ads or anything that's against the rules or the contract that you signed joining the team, but it could be for each one. Is this an informational commercial? Not really an informational commercial. The webinar is talking about what the program will have in it and giving you guys a couple of takeaways that I would like for you to work on in between now and the time the program would launch. Yeah, so someone just posted, Lori, Facebook changing their algorithm again. Yes, so I was looking at that a couple of days ago, and as that's not happened today. However, I believe by the end of the year is what they said, this will be in full effect. And as of right now, one of the things she's talking about that would affect the content of this class, and at the point where they actually change it, I will change the content. So, but for right now, it has not been changed yet. But one of the things that would affect the ads portion, which is what we're talking about here, that you guys will all want to start thinking about between now and the end of the year on how you change the way you place ads, is Facebook. Right now, whenever you're dropping a pin on an ad and you're saying, I want the radius around the house for 1 mile. So basically, I want anybody within a mile to see this ad. Facebook is changing that for a few key industries, and we do fall into that in the real estate industry for housing ads, where you can no longer go down to a mile. By the end of the year, their goal is to have it be a minimum of a 10 to 15 mile radius, from what I heard the other day when I was watching this. So as that pops up, I will be changing the content, but for right now during the program, I'll make you guys aware that it's coming, and you'll just have to know that you'll need to pivot at a certain point in the year. And once you have joined the program, when you guys are in the actual Facebook group for the attendees of the program, you won't be kicked out. So if you take it once or you take it 10 times, that's totally fine. You'll stay in the group, and I'll be doing updates in the group as Facebook changes things. So if you take it once and you're in the group, when that happens, you'll see it. You'll see how you need to be addressing it. But for right now, that's not something we're going to focus on. Okay, so to go through the next piece of this, the other perks that will come from being in this particular class is that it is more of a hands-on, week to week, helping you build this out kind of approach, and giving you some ideas as well on how to maybe do things a little differently than what's being done in your marketplace. I will be doing a more in-depth conversation, kind of like I would call a nitty-gritty conversation, on the off days. So the class is going to always be on Tuesday. My goal is that on Friday that I come into a Facebook Live every Friday for 30 minutes to make sure that no one has questions, and that you're also having accountability around implementing what we've talked about every week, giving you guys some additional information, some additional tips and tricks and things like that, to make sure that you're carrying over to the next week and you're not ever being more than a couple of days without some help. You can also ask questions during that time or post anything that you need in there. The other thing, kind of like I was talking about the social media policy, whenever I have things that are either typed out or, the best app to use for door knocking, the best app to use for creating graphics, the best app to use to watermark over your logo. I mean, all these things, as I see them, I will be putting them in there as well. That's also in the content of the class, but if I change something that I'm doing, you guys will be the first to know that. So the other question that is on here was the cost of the program. So like I was telling you guys at the beginning, it is 8 weeks. This is the information for the program itself. We're going to launch on April 23rd. The class is always going to be on Tuesdays at 1:30 Central Time. So just to run down the line, that is 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, 12:30 Mountain Time, and 11:30 Pacific Time. If you guys live in Arizona, I have no clue how time change would affect the time, depending on if time just changed or not. But you guys know the rest of the country is jealous that you don't have to observe daylight savings time, so you guys can figure out what you fall into. It is 8 weeks long, so it's one class, one webinar that's approximately 45 minutes to an hour long each week for the duration of the 8 weeks. In addition to that, is going to be, like I said, the Facebook Lives every single week following the class a few days later in the Facebook group. The program price is $198. So I did the math in my market, and if I sold one home, and my average price here is $175, just to give you some context. If I sold one home off of something that I learned in this program, I would make well more than 10 times the amount of money I invested in it. So my biggest encouragement to all of you is, if you are a little bit nervous or scared about Facebook, or you're not really sure how you make money off of it, most of what is in this class is practical things that I myself actually used when we relocated here a few years ago. My license went active in March, and between March and the end of November, I had sold approximately 48 homes off of Facebook, had a few close out at the beginning of January. So not spending anything on Facebook ads. I'm giving you basically the blueprint of what I did week in, week out, day in, day out, just on social media to sell approximately 50 homes in 50 weeks without knowing anyone. I had no sphere here. I did not know the street names or anything like that. So that is the encompassing thing to this program, is just what I've actually done myself. So I'm not here telling you something that could work or should work. I'm telling you something that did work for me. So if you guys have questions, go ahead, and we do have only a few minutes left. So go ahead and pop those into the questions box. And as I see them come up, I will be answering them. So just keep popping them in there, and I will answer them as I see them come up. So what will be the time for the Facebook Live? I don't have that figured out specifically right now, but if I'm looking at my time block, more than likely it would be around the same time as the program on that Friday. So I would probably say around 2 o'clock on Fridays Eastern time. I'm on the East Coast. That is not something that's set in stone yet. The class time is, but the additional Facebook Live would not be. I will update you guys though as that comes along. Next question, will the replay be available? Yes. So you're signed up for Bold during that time. This as well is being recorded. So all of these will be recorded, and you will be able to watch them on your own time afterwards. Can we join as late as the 22nd? Absolutely. Sometimes we have people who actually join the day of. I've even joined a group coaching program the week afterwards because I didn't realize it was going on about a year ago. So you can join all the way up until the day it starts. What kind of response do we get from targeted prospects? And this is from Jennifer Hardy. So Jennifer, one of the best things that we do is advertising around, I know this might sound simple, but it's a level 7 open house, and we add social to it as well as door knocking. But one of the biggest responses that we can directly tie to Facebook is in the realm of open house right now, where when we ask people how they found out the open house was going on, they tell us that they saw the advertising and the target ads through Facebook. The reason that is for our area is there's a city ordinance that says we can't put out a sign that says open house, and we can only have 2, one directional, one in the yard. And so it's hard for us to gear people to an open house. So when they get there, we ask them, and that's the biggest place we're seeing wins right now. Can my marketing admin be included with my fee as well? I would encourage you to email that question, Christine, to the fast track email that she gave you. That's also on the registration that you have for the webinar. Usually it's 1 participant per registration, but if they're taking it instead of you, that may be a different story. So please just direct that to them. Okay, is not $198 the total cost of the program, Rosie? Holloway, I believe is how you say your last name. Absolutely. There's no there's no admin fee or additional fee on top of that. It's $198. Let's see. Sphere of influence also. Mark Gibson, I don't think I understand that question. It may have been a subset of another question you asked that was broken up. So if you'll retype that, that'd be awesome. Do we get listings? Miguel, yes. So one of the biggest things that we have on Facebook is that we do search through groups and things like that to look for keywords for knowing when someone's going to list their home. Those keywords and key phrases will be shared, but we absolutely do get quite a few listings from here. Okay, so anybody else? Let's see. Facebook page for the training group. Yes, there is a Facebook page that you guys, once you join and sign up for the program, you'll be added to. I will get a roster from Maps that says here's who's on here, and then you'll be added directly to that. Let's see. Well, Oh, hell. It says, will this class help someone that is illiterate when it comes to using Facebook? Also don't have a lot of talent to create graphics for postings. Okay, yes, it will help anybody who has never sold a thing off of Facebook, because like I said, the first couple of sessions is all about how to use Facebook to build a business page from scratch, how to choose a name, all the way through branding, choosing the right colors, placing ads, doing digital door knocking, and some video posting, and all. Like it's a program for all skill levels. I love the way you put that though. Other thing in there that I will share, but I'll share this with you guys now. The best thing I ever did for myself when I was solo before having a team, and it wasn't because I didn't know how. I actually do know how to use design programs and software, but time's sake, was the app on my phone, but the website Canva, which is Canva, and that allowed me to have templates already out for graphics and things. I did not have to do anything except put the information in there and change the color, and voila, it was professionally done. You may also look into using Fiverr, Fiverr, very inexpensive way to get someone to do graphics for you. My new favorite app for graphics, if you are completely illiterate or not skilled in graphic design, is Typorama, and that actually allows me to add our logo onto all the pictures and watermarks if I need to. So that's more of a, hey, don't steal my stuff kind of an app that I love. And if someone does share it, it allows it to still have my branding on it. So I know that I want to be respectful of all of your time. It is 3 o'clock. This will be recorded and sent out to you guys. If you have additional questions, like I said, please reach out to me personally. If you need like Facebook stuff like that, if you just have a question that I didn't get to, you're more than welcome to find me on Facebook. I know that's kind of what a lot of you have told me you've done it anyway, is to scope out and see if I know what I'm talking about, which you're more than welcome to. Go for it. But if you have anything else that may be about the program, about pricing, about launch dates, or all of that, please direct that to Fast Track Maps. And I'm so excited for you guys to come on this journey with me. And I will turn it back over to Maps to close out. Thank you guys so much.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for attending our promo webinar. Feel free to reach out again to fasttrack@kw.com if you have any questions. Bye.